Hello all and welcome back to another model railway video. Now today I am going to be taking a look at a very cool steam engine, the Turbomotive, and this is the Hornby BR Black Turbomotive. This model came out at the end of 2023 and it was quite successful. The build quality of it is absolutely fantastic. It has got a lot of sophisticated detail. For me, the best part of the lot is the lighting system, which you'll soon see on this, is because it's very cool to finally see some Hornby steam engines with functioning lamps. It is such a cool feature. Now, this locomotive I was going to be featuring with another engine in a double unboxing video originally, as some of you may know, and unfortunately it didn't go to plan because the other loco had issues with it, which unfortunately still haven't got sorted, so I'm just simply leaving that engine out of the picture altogether and just putting the focus on the Turbomotive. So today I'm going to unbox this locomotive, have a close look at the detail. There's a lot to cover on this, so I'm going to be pretty brief when I look at each component. I'm not going to be going as in-depth as I would on some other engines. And yeah, I'll cover what I can, and hopefully I won't miss anything out. I will then give it a run on the layout with a load, and I'll show you what the crawl's like is, because even though I've run it, it has not had a lot of running. In fact, it probably hasn't been running yet. It's had a few laps of the layout hauling some different loads, but not really a whole lot of use at all. So we'll give it a crawl test, but just bear in mind it is not going to be out of the box brand new. It has had some running, but nevertheless it's going to be a really cool engine to look at. So I'll get into it and we'll unbox this magnificent machine. Okay, so let's open it up. And also, this is my first Hornby loco that I've bought with the new style of packaging. And I tell you what, it is very well done. In my opinion, it's a bit too big, but it's very good in terms of protecting the model, but in terms of storage, it's a bit of a pain. But not a problem anyway. So, we'll get it out. And as you can see, they've protected it really well. The old boxes were just plastic surrounds, whereas now you've got this nice foam surround. I'll get the manual out and we'll have a look at that briefly. Princess Royal Turbomotive. And that's your general running hints and all that. Let's have a look at the diagram. So it shows you lubrication points. Comes with crew, which is really cool. And these are painted crew, which you'll soon see. It shows you where you can swap the rear set of wheels out for a flangeless set or a flange set, whatever one you want. That is where you put the lamp in, which you'll soon see. I haven't fitted these, by the way. It shows where you remove the tender to loco connection, the drawbar. Shows where the front truck gets removed from. It shows you DCC socket. Now this one I thought was interesting. They've actually put it in the loco. And I thought it would be a smart idea to put it in the tender, but they didn't do it. But then I figured out why when I saw another diagram. That's your wire connection, there's your drawbar, yeah, just general bits and pieces. Now it's this thing on the back. This is the main reason why I think they haven't put the DCC socket in the tender. It's because you've actually got a feature where you grab the sides of the tender and it will turn a light on and off, a little lamp light. And this is directional. In one direction it's orange glow, in the other direction it's red glow. So I thought that's very interesting, but surely there would be enough room to put a DCC socket in there, but I'm not sure how big the components are in it. I'm not going to bother finding out, don't want to pull it apart. But yeah, one interesting feature. Now I'll move the packaging out of the way. Just chuck it up here. Well, not chuck it, place it very gently. And we'll move on to the locomotive. So inside the sleeve, you got the detail bag. I can't mention this enough, Ziploc bags, really good idea instead of those sealed bags that they used to provide. So you might be able to see there you've got some painted crew, and this is fantastic to see. You've got your flanged wheel set, you've got some brake rigging. Was that drain cocks in there? No? I can see the lamp there for the front, there's steps, there's a great amount of details there. And I'm not going to fit any of these today, but you do get quite a bit in terms of the details. Now, we'll open this up itself. Just got to be careful with this thing, because it weighs a heck of a lot for a steam engine of its size. Like I've felt the weight of the regular Princess Royal and it's got a lot of weight, but this thing here, it's got even more weight. It's absolutely incredible how much they've crammed into this thing. So I'm going to have to readjust the camera because I'm simply not going to be able to keep this thing held up in the air just because of the massive weight of the thing. It weighs a ton. I don't know what the exact weight is of this, but it is very, very impressive, the weight. And that's mainly due to the fact that this whole boiler and firebox unit, that's all metal. So that is the main reason why this weighs an absolute ton. So I'll now readjust the cameras and we'll take a close look at this absolutely fantastic experimental steam engine. Here we go. So simply, this thing is too big and too heavy to keep holding up to the camera, so I'm going to try and do most of the videoing like this and just simply look at the loco first and then the tender, and I'll try and zoom in on some of the detailed bits that you can't really see from this distance. So in terms of the detail on this, it is very impressive. It's, of course, since it's a BR livery, it's a bit more simple than what you would probably get on the LMS Turbomotive, but still, it's very, very nice. You've got all sorts of panels and rivet detail going along the side here. I'm assuming that's the turbine housing, and you've also got the big panel running along the side there. I'm not sure what that would be for, possibly pipes or goodness knows what in there. Now, the noticeable difference compared to the LMS Turbomotive that this one has is the smoke deflectors, and I think they look really, really cool. Very unusual for this size of locomotive. I've seen on the Coronation class engines, the smoke deflectors are massive and they go right up over the smoke box, whereas they're quite small in comparison. They're very small. They're probably more the size of what you would see on an A1 class engine, but still probably even a bit smaller. But they look really, really cool. You've also got some nice lining going along the running board along there, red and white lining. You've got the nicely done red boiler bands, which are one there, and one there. This one here hasn't been done. I'm not sure why, probably what it was like in real life. Now, apologies if there is a bit of glare about here, and that is because that the boiler, smoke box and all that, that's all metal, and the paint on it's very glossy, and as a result it tends to shine back at the camera, so apologies for that. But yeah, there's all sorts of other brilliant detail. You can see also an interesting feature is you've only got coupling rods on the driving wheels. There's no valve gear or anything because it's all done via turbines. It's a very interesting look for an engine of this size, but that's what makes it intriguing, is it's just so different and unusual. Got the chimney there, got some small little painted component there. It's meant to look like brass, but it's not, it's just plastic. That's nicely done, not sure what that is. Other different components, you've got the domes, you've got the safety valves which are brass, that's a very good feature. Painted whistle to look like brass, which is there. You've got stunning firebox detail. I can see the plugs on the side, although are they stays? I think those are the stays there. I think the plugs are separate from there. I think those are the stays. But they look really nicely done. You've got the handrails going right the way along the edge, the pipe underneath it, that looks really good. You've got all sorts of rivet detail all over the place. Nicely done cab, and I will zoom in on the cab detail in just a moment. But yeah, there's some really, really good rivet detail on this, and with the metal it looks so nice. But as a result, it's very, very heavy. Now I'm going to move it along a little bit. Gosh, it's even heavy just lifting it with one hand just along the workbench. Can I go a bit further? That's probably where we want it. Now let's see if I can zoom in a bit on the cab. Is it going to focus? Yes, it is. So you've got the numbers and the lining going around the edge, so 46202, and you've got the 7P which is underneath there. It looks really, really good. You've got nice rivet detail surrounding the cab area. You've got the little plastic see-through windows which are there, which are also very good. A very, very well detailed cab from the outside. Looks really, really nice. So I'll zoom out again. A bit quicker. That's it. Right, we'll move on to the tender. And I'm just doing the side view first, and then I'll look at the front and back of the engine. Right, so in terms of the tender's detail, you've got amazing rivet detail once again all along here. It's really crisp, you can see it quite well, especially with the black paint of course. You've got the nice lining going right around the edge, the red and white lining, and a lovely early BR crest in the middle of the tender, of course on both sides, and that looks really nice. Good frame detail where the axle boxes and everything are there, it looks nice. You've got, of course, the coal load, which you'll soon see in a minute from a top view. It's actually a really nicely done coal load, it doesn't look too chunky, it looks nice. And you've got some other detail components like the water cap and the, I'm assuming that's a balance in there for the water, for the pipes. But yeah, it's really nicely detailed. Now, this is the bit I really want to have a close look at. And this is going to be the hard bit, because it's going to hang over the bench, I think, a little bit, because of how long it is. Oh, I was going to show you this as a surprise, but it's obviously decided to pop up. There's a tiny little panel there on a hinge. I don't know why that has been made to do that, but it's still a very nice feature. I'll zoom out a bit so you can see the full front end of the loco. Quite hard to get it all into frames because it's such a big engine. So on the front, you've got some absolutely fantastic detail. In fact, I can get it a bit better than that. I'm going to just tilt the camera a tad. That's better. So, you've got the brilliant lamps on the front there. They look absolutely fantastic. These are actually working lamps, and it is such a cool feature on a modern Hornby engine. It's been well needed. It's because there's so many British engines out there that don't have any working lamps, and it is a shame. So to finally see some working lamps on a model, it's very, very cool. You've got this little tiny lamp bracket here, and this is an interesting one, and it said it on the manual, but you can actually get a pair of tweezers, and I haven't done this yet. You can pull it out and you can fit a lamp on the top here if you wish to. Now, I've been told that the lamp that gets fit on the top, it's not as bright as the bottom lamps for obvious reasons, because it's a one you have to fit, whereas these are already fixed in place, so it's probably a better amount of light going through them. But it looks fine either way. You can run it with the lamp on top or just the bottom lamps operating. I prefer it the way it's set up at the moment with just the two bottom lamps, just because it looks a bit nicer. But yeah, you've got the option of fitting that other lamp, which is quite cool. Lovely detail on the front. You've got your shed number, nice 46202 print there, smoke box dart, different handrail detail. Nice panel along here which is all etched, that looks really nice, and of course this little tiny panel. I don't know why they have done that particular panel so it's hinged. Maybe it could just be that's how they've fastened it, but I'm pretty sure that's been designed for a specific reason. I don't know why though, but yeah, it looks good. You've also got the nice buffer beam detail with sprung metal buffers, and you've still got a fit screw link coupling which is in the detail bag. The hose though has been connected. But yeah, it looks really, really nice from a front view, and it just, when you look at it with the smoke deflectors on, it just looks strange. It really does, but I like that effect. It looks really, really cool. Right, okay, I'm going to turn it to the rear of the engine now, and then we'll take a look at the other side. That's a better camera view, isn't it? Much clearer. So, I'll get back into it. Detail on the rear of the tender looks fantastic. Again, nice rivets. You've got these steps on the side. They look really, really good. Now, here is the lamp feature. So this is the tiny lamp that they have on the back, which can be turned on and off. And I will try and feature that when I've got the engine on the layout. But simply, when the engine is started for the first time, this light will automatically be on. But if you want to turn it off, saying you're going to run some coaches in behind, all you do is you simply put your fingers on the side here and gently give it just a gentle tap, and that will trigger the switch on the inside, and that will turn the light off or on if you want to turn it back on. Again, you have got nice buffer detail here with the sprung buffers, and they're metal. You've got these little plates like builder's plates and other plates on the rear here. They look fantastic. You've got handrails on the sides, and you can see the back of the tender where the water filler cap and the other components are, and it looks very, very nice. Now, I'll try and get a view of the cab detail on this. You can probably see it from about there, that's probably the best view. But you can just see right in there you have got a flickering firebox, another great feature. There's the footplate, is also made of metal, looks good, and you can see there's a few cab controls in there as well. And can I get a better view? Only just, but yeah, there is the view of all the cab controls, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And you've got a good coal load there as well, as I mentioned before. It looks really realistic. Now I'm going to put the engine down again, and this time I'm going to have a look at the other side of it. So in terms of the other side, it's a bit different. You've got part of that panelling along the side, but it doesn't go all the way like the other side. You can see you've got the wheel covers on the running boards up here. On the other side you don't have that. The panel runs all the way along. But yeah, it looks a bit strange this side. You've got that one panel there and the rest is just empty. But it looks really good. And again, you've got pretty much the same details on the side. You've got the nice print on the cab. You've got all of the boiler bands. Of course, you've got the lining going around the edge of the wheel cover, so that looks really nice. And yeah, other brilliant details. And of course the tender, same thing again. You've got the same crest on the opposite side, good lining, very good detail. So this locomotive, of course, and I haven't mentioned it yet, of course it was an experimental engine using steam turbines instead of like the traditional cylinders and valve gear, and pretty much it was same sort of principle. The boiler produced steam, but the steam instead was used on a turbine instead of the traditional method of how a steam engine works. Now, I'm pretty sure that the engine was only ever painted in the two colours that Hornby have represented it in, which is the LMS and the BR Black. And from what I've heard, this engine was involved in a crash or an incident when it was in these BR Black colours, and I think it was written off afterwards as a result of the crash. But yeah, it's a stunning locomotive, and I'm glad that Hornby have gone ahead and have actually produced it, is because it is absolutely phenomenal. The size of it, how it looks, it's very cool. A different piece to add to your collection. So I will now put this on the layout and we'll have a look at some of the different features this thing has, such as the lighting, and I'll give it a bit of a crawl at slow speed, show you how that goes. I haven't actually tried a crawl with it, so it'll be quite interesting to see. And yeah, we'll give it a good run, light engine first, then we'll put a load on and see what it can do. Right, we'll move it over to the layout. Here we go. So there we are, I've just managed to fit it into frame, but the BR Black Turbomotive is now all ready to go. I will give it a brief run now to show you what the crawl's like. We'll just give it a general run first, then I'll try and give it a bit of a crawl to it. But I tell you what, it is a stunning loco to look at. I've already run it, of course, so what you're going to be seeing is not brand new out of the box. However, it is very minimal, the amount of time that it has been in use. It's probably not even fully running yet. So, we'll give it a run now. Here we go. Nice smooth start. Bring it back. It's pretty smooth. See if it'll crawl nice. It stopped. Oh, there we go. Going slow. It's pretty good. A little bit jerky. Try it in reverse, eh? It's a bit jerky, but it's pretty good. I would expect it to be reasonably good because it doesn't have any valve yet. It's just got coupling rods, but it is still a bit jerky. But as I say, it hasn't been fully run in yet. It hasn't had a lot of use at all. So I would assume that once it's had a bit more running in time, it should be good to go. Yeah, no, not bad. Anyway, I'll now turn the camera to the lights and I'll show you the different lights that it features. You'll see the flickering firebox going as the engine goes around, and the headlights, but the main one I want to point out is the switch on the back. So I'll move the camera and we'll take a look at it. So there we are, I've turned the light away from the rear of the tender so you can see that lamp a little bit clearer in terms of the colour. So we'll run the engine forwards now. You can see there's a bit of a red light. And in reverse, you've got a glowing orange light. So as you can see, there is different light for each direction. Now, in terms of pulling away from the camera, you see you've got your red light. Gently press the sides. You see that light just went off? So the light just turned off. Now, as you will see, when it hits the other direction again, the light does come back on again. So whenever you change direction or stop the loco, you will need to reset the switch. So I'm going to do it again. There we go. So now I've got no red light. But if I'm wanting to do it coming back, so you can see the orange light's on there, have to do it again. Is that it? Did it do it? No, I stopped it again, so it's come back on. So pretty much what you have to do with this lamp on the back here is you have to tap the sides of the tender whenever you change the direction. So it's not a permanent fixture, it's only effective when there is actually power to the model. Well, that's what I found with my one anyway. I'm not sure how the other ones are, but I'm pretty sure it'd be the same way. So pretty much all you do is when you start the locomotive up, put your fingers just there. I think it's about there more than up here. For some reason it does it better when I put my fingers there, but you pretty much just squeeze the sides just very gently, like minimal, and that will change the light from being on and off. The best way, of course, to get it to turn back on again is just simply stop the loco and start it again and it will re-engage. Well, that's what I found with my one anyway. So yeah, that is how that rear light works. And as you can see, even though it is quite dim, you can still see it pretty well. The lighting here is not the best and it's going to go blurry again, it'll go out of focus. But you can see it's good for what you need. It's just there for when you're running the engine light engine. And let's face it, this engine being run light is going to be very minimal. It will be definitely more of an engine to be hooked up to a set of coaches going at quite a high speed. But yeah, so that is the rear lighting. And of course you'll see the front lights when this engine is put into life, and the flickering firebox as well. So what I'll do now is I'll run the locomotive light engine for a bit, just to give it a bit more running in time, of course, and then we will see some coaches in behind it. I've still got to pick some, but I'll get some good coaches out and we'll give it a run. So we'll get into it. Right, so the locomotive has now had a decent chance to run in, and it's all set to take a load around now, so I will grab a set of 3 passenger coaches and place them in behind and send it on its way. Now the coaches that are running in behind it, they're not really the right era. I think they're more later BR era coaches, but they should do the part for today, running in behind the engine. Right, we'll get to it. And just in case you did not see it before, here's the firebox. I'll tell you what, it is an absolutely stunning model to watch on the layout. Very unique. And I'll tell you what, the lamps on the front, they make such a nice touch. Absolutely brilliant model. So there we go, folks. That is Hornby's very impressive BR Black Turbomotive. What an absolutely brilliant machine. I hope that I've covered all the details correctly. There's probably some things that I've missed out, as there's simply so much to look at on this. I really love experimental engines, and this loco fits very well into that category. It's such an unusual shape and unusual form for an engine of its size. It's such a neat engine. I love all the modern features that have been included on this as well. The fact that it's got the working lamps at the front and the rear, it's got the flickering firebox, and they've also fitted it with a really nice die-cast metal boiler and these other compartments on the side. It is a very good quality model, and I'm glad I've gone for the BR Black version, is because I love the smoke deflectors on the front too. It's a really cool feature, that. Very good. I hope you've enjoyed this video, folks. I hope I've covered it in an all-right manner, that all the details that you would have wanted to see have been included in the video. If not, please let me know and I can point out anything that you want to know, because there is plenty more to be seen on this loco that I wouldn't have covered today. I'll certainly be doing some more models in the not too distant future in 00 scale. I've got some new locos that I'm wanting to have a look at. They're not brand new, but they're new to my collection. I've bought a few second-hand engines recently, which I wouldn't mind taking a look at. There'll be other locos in different scales, of course, as per normal. And hopefully in the not too distant future, some more brand newly tooled models from different manufacturers as well. Very good. I hope it's been enjoyable, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.